And we are out here. It is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. I am Peaches. Just before the show started here, I was reading this article about how Betty Boop is the latest public domain character to spawn an indie horror movie. You know, the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Aren't they making, or did they already make, a Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie horror movie? I know there's a Steam game that you can play where you're stuck on the boat with Mickey. I've seen plenty of YouTubers play that. Well, the full list of characters that have made their way into the public domain. You got Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Bambi. That's right, they're making that Bambi horror movie. Popeye, which that would be frightening to see, and Aladdin. Boop is being introduced to buyers at the American film market. I guess what this movie is going to be all about is that Betty Boop kills podcasters. Yeah. I was trying to read more into it, but this is more so going into like the whole thing about how it's going to be presented to this company and blah, 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 blah. But, oh, wait, here we go. In the film, a team of horror podcast investigators breaks into an abandoned theater to discover the hauntings of the starlet once known as Boop. A simple investigation turns into a horrific bloodbath as they fight to escape the murderous Boop as she is out for revenge. Yeah, there's that to look forward to. No idea when it's supposed to come out, but yeah, there's that. 208-535-1015 is the number to reach me, and we'll continue Peach's Pit Party here in just a few on K-Bear 101. I was waiting for somebody to freak out in the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group. I don't know if you saw. If you're not a member of that group, make sure to join. Using Sora, the AI video generator app, I decided to make this little video of me saying Peach's Pizza, and then I transform into a pizza. That's on our K-Bear group, K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal. And Victor jokingly tagged everyone. I was waiting for that one specific person to legitimately just freak out. Why would you tag me in such a thing? That doesn't mean jokingly go do it now because I mentioned it on the air. I'm just pointing it out. Like, I'm glad nobody freaked out legitimately in there. You never know what people are going to freak out about. I mean, really. There are times where, well, I'm not going to dive deep into that. I was about to go into something, but I'm like, forget it. But right now, I'm trying my best to export a video that Josh, Chantel, and myself recorded this morning, trying to have Chantel decipher metal band logos. I chose some of the most difficult out there, and she at least got some of them right. I mean, if I wasn't a fan of the genre, didn't know who those bands were, I would have no clue whatsoever. I talked about the Shamrock Slaughter Festival. Sangui Sugabog announced that, and I was looking at the poster going, who on earth are these bands? I could recognize some of them, but some of those other ones, man. I do love this whole thing about if you're a metal band, you have to just make the logo as hard to read as possible. Let's move on to some Bad Omens here on K-Bear 101. Their logo's pretty easy to read. It's Spectre. As I've talked about on the show before, there are major differences in the movies that my girlfriend and I both like. I like horror, I like comedy, I like action, thriller. She more so likes, the typical, I hate calling them this, but they are the chick flicks. She likes the romance. She likes the love stories. Loves the, just very easygoing movies. Meanwhile, I couldn't care less about those. And one of the movies she's very excited for is Wicked for Good. I didn't realize they were making a second one. I never saw the first one. Do I ever plan on seeing it? Absolutely not. I cannot stand that Cynthia girl, and I also cannot stand Ariana Grande trying to market that movie. Have you seen those interviews? They're pretty funny, right? Some interviewer would ask them a simple question. They would start crying, holding each other's hands like, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful thing you just said. I just asked you what it's like on set. Why are you crying? I was reading something here about how Airbnb is going to do this whole thing. They've created Elphabas Retreat, a real-life forest hideout inspired by the Green Witch herself. I do like the original Wizard of Oz. I have never, ever, ever seen any adaptation of the story Wicked. Do I ever plan on it? No, maybe at some point in the future. Is it all? It's a musical, right? I know that this movie's a musical, but is the OG thing's a musical, right? There's no movie version of Wicked. Because I hate musicals. I can't stand them. I'd rather watch any romance movie over Wicked. I just can't. I just don't even want to see it. I'd rather stare at this wall in the K-Bear studio than ever see Wicked. I'm looking at this silly little story here. It asks, do you want to start your day off right? Try jumping 50 times in the morning. It's gone viral on TikTok, apparently. Users claiming it boosts energy, improves mood, even helps with bloating, weight loss. The number 50 isn't magical. Experts say there's real science behind the benefits of just jumping 50 times right as you get out of bed. Jumping gets your heart rate up, improves circulation, activates the lymphatic system, which helps flush out waste. It also engages muscles, blah, 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 blah. Can be a quick way to feel more alert. Could you imagine your significant other's in bed trying to sleep and and you just wake up in the morning and start jumping? Imagine if I were to do such a thing, the whole building would shake. Are you kidding me? I'm on the first floor, luckily. I couldn't imagine moving upstairs to the now empty second-story apartment above me, and the neighbors below just love how I wake up every morning by jumping 50 times up and down, ding, 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 peaches, ding, ding, ding. You know, that'd be horrible. Just 9 months after trading away Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison is out of a job. After getting the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft, selecting Cooper Flagg, the Mavericks are 3-8 and are in second to last place in the Western Conference this season. The last straw was the Mavericks blowing a 13-point lead Monday night in a home loss to the Bucks, during which fans chanted, "Fire Nico," which is funny because could you imagine that happening at any other job? The Taco Bell employee messes up your order. The Taco Bell employee forgot my chips and cheese today. Could you imagine if I just walked in there, found out the dude's name, and went, "Fire Stewart"? You know. Major League Baseball got together with sports betting companies, and the two groups agreed to cap bets on individual pitches at $200 and exclude them for parlays. This all comes a few days after two Cleveland Guardians pitchers, Emmanuel Clase, and Luis Ortiz, were indicted and accused of rigging pitches to help bettors profit. While MLB didn't specify which sports books agreed to the new guidelines, the league said the agreement includes 98% of the U.S. betting market. When this NFL season started, one of the rookies getting a bunch of attention was Travis Hunter, who was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone was excited to see how he would play both offense and defense for the Jags. After injuring his knee in practice a couple weeks ago, Hunter hasn't been able to play on either side of the ball in any games. And yesterday, the Jaguars ruled him out completely, my voice cracked there, completely, as he has surgery to repair that knee. He'll miss the rest of the 2025 season and is expected to return to full strength in time for the beginning of the 2026 season. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update, completely right here on K-Bear 101. All right, we have one of those stories. A woman shared on Reddit on the Am I a Jerk forum, you know, the one I can't say, so we call it Am I a Jerk. It's really something else. She is upset with her husband because he wants to go to a football game on Thanksgiving instead of being with the family. She explained that after entering for 2 years, her husband finally won a work raffle to see the Detroit Lions host the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. The problem, they're hosting 20 people for dinner that day. She writes, "My husband has known about this because it was decided at least 2 months ago," she wrote. "He knows that I'm going to need his help that day." Now, typically I would be on the side of her, but my hatred towards Thanksgiving is real, all right? Skip the stupid dinner at 3 p.m. Forget seeing the family members. Who cares? Go watch some football. She says her husband suggested that they just cancel Thanksgiving, go to the game together, but she told him that wasn't happening. He then promised to help before going to the game and suggested that her family members would help her while he's gone. All right. Make her mom help with the turkey. He also explained that he has to go because the tickets are use them or lose them, but she's not having it, obviously. I told him if he goes to the game, he might as well get a hotel too because I don't want him coming home that night. Yeah, but if he also doesn't go, he's going to make you feel guilty for the rest of time, right? Maybe. Redditor sided with the husband, saying it was an opportunity he shouldn't pass up, and she should be happy for him. You know, there are some others that say, hey, others suggested simply change Thanksgiving to a different day so they could both go. Perfect. Who cares about Thanksgiving being on Thanksgiving especially? It's a dinner that happens way too early with food that most people don't like, that most people don't necessarily eat. Do you really crave turkey? You don't. All right? You can have a nice turkey sandwich, but are you just going to simply say, man, you know what sounds good right now? A turkey that takes all day to cook, go through the whole process, eventually serve it, and it still ends up tasting just like plain old turkey. Go to the football game. Here's From Ashes to New disease. You know, we talked about it when Halloween was around the corner that like 50% of all pumpkin carving related injuries were that week. Something along the lines of that. Like people were using legitimate sharp knives to carve pumpkins and they would end up cutting open their hand and a whole bunch of other messy stuff, right? I carved a pumpkin successfully with just a kitchen knife. I know. Oh, good for you, Peaches. I did it. I'm a big boy now. Well, I was reading this New York Post article about how this one ER doctor, he talks about this one ER doctor is simply talking about the top 5 injuries and illnesses we see on Thanksgiving. Cuts and lacerations. Or is it lacerations or lacerations? We see a lot of lacerations, particularly on the hands and fingers. According to the ER doctor, people cut themselves all the time on Thanksgiving because they're using new tools like shredders, mandolins, especially sharp knives, plus cooks. They're often distracted because they're busy talking with family and friends. Maybe they've had a few glasses of alcohol. The ER doctor recommends staying focused on the task at hand, carefully reading the instructions of new cooking devices, practicing with them before the big day. Imagine practicing, pretending to cut a turkey. I got to prepare for the big game that is our Thanksgiving meal. Burns, obviously. Turkey fryers can cause burns, fires, explosions, serious injuries. We've seen all those videos, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more this year. They get really, really hot, can overflow if they're not used correctly. That's why it's so stupid to eat a turkey on Thanksgiving. Orthopedic injuries on this list here of the top 5 injuries you'll see on Thanksgiving, according to an ER doctor. Trauma to bones, joints, muscles, tendons, ligaments. Forget football on TV. The real action is the games in the backyard, the horseplay in the living room, right? You get that one uncle that still thinks they can take you down. They quickly regret it. You're in high school. You're a wrestler. You just quickly break his arm by complete accident. Oops. Family fun can lead to major pain. There are a few ways to prevent holiday sprains, fractures, and concussions. Yeah, just sit there kindly and wait for the dinner to start. Does there really need to be a family football game? I can't imagine my family playing football in any way, shape, or form. I would tackle someone, they would die, and then, of course, it would be my fault entirely because my family wanted to play a football game, and then Thanksgiving would be ruined forever. You want to talk about hobbies? Why not? I could use a good hobby. I started, thanks to my girlfriend, I started collecting some plants around the place. Kind of spruce things up, you know. Do I plan on going over the top with it? Absolutely not. I just have, I think, 2 little cacti, 2 little cactuses, one tropical plant that I got for $11 at Costco. It looks good in the corner. I think that's about it. Yeah, maybe I'll get like one more for another room. We'll see. Plants are so finicky. Plants are so annoying. Like you see the instructions. You go to the nursery and you'll see the instructions of how to properly take care of that plant. You got to put it in a south-facing room. You got to give it distilled water. Ooh. Well, I came across this article, 11 hobbies that make people think you're pretentious, even if they'd never admit it. Some interests give people the idea that you think you're superior, even if that's not what you intended at all. So oh, geez. Number 1, meditation. Go to any girl in LA, ask them if they meditate. I'm sure they'll tell you all about it. It aligns the chakras. Okay, what exactly is a chakra? They wouldn't know. They just heard that somewhere by some yoga guru that they, go to twice a week, and they think they're some type of they think they're holy. I don't know. Traveling, one of the hobbies that make people think you're really pretentious, even if they'd never admit it, because it's something that only people who can afford it are able to do. You ever see that particular person just pop up on Instagram? Like, you've known them since high school, and they're everywhere in the world. It's like around the world in 80 days on their Instagram. They're in Italy, they're in France, they're in Belgium. They're all over the place. How are you able to afford it? Well, they married rich. Or the grandpa died and he left a massive inheritance. Gaming is on this list of 11 hobbies that make people think you're pretentious. Everyone knows at least one person who is obsessed with gaming in some form, although they might never own up to it. This makes some people judge others as being pretentious. According to the article here, gamers are known for being pretty dedicated, devoted, and there's a lot of competition within the hobby. Now, I'm not a competitive gamer. I'm just the guy that's tired after work and just wants to sit there, play a fun game. I was playing some Dead Island 2. I was continuing the story. You know what sucks when you're an adult is that you and your friends have differing jobs, differing hours. And so when you're online, it doesn't mean your friends are also online. My friend Eric, we've been trying to play Dead Island 2 for the longest time. He is not online when I am, and vice versa. So I've continued the story without him, and he made me feel so bad. He was like, well, you got to join my game then because you're clearly farther than me. Like, well, I'm online when I'm online, okay? I think we're okay going through this list here, or continuing on through this list. I think we talked about it enough. Well, I see music at number 4. It's only superior if they talk about their vinyls like they're their pets. You know, those vinyl records are their pets. Like, they take really good care of them, and they bring out. It depends what type of what record they pull out first. If they pull out some Tame Impala or some crap like that, you walk out of that house right away. Well, it took 232 years, but the official penny is dead. The last ever penny, almost said penny was minted Wednesday in Philadelphia. President Trump started the penny's doomsday clock back in February when he ordered the Treasury Secretary to stop producing new pennies. So the clock ran out today. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia produced the final pennies to go into circulation. The 1-cent coins had been minted there since 1793, the year after Congress passed the Coinage Act. Pennies are still considered legal tender, but no new pennies will be made, and it's mainly a financial decision. A single penny costs about 3 cents to produce. Yeah, 3 cents for a cent. Might as well stop making them. I've talked about this every year for the past 4-5 years, I think. Something along the lines of that. You know, the weather's getting colder, obviously. We're approaching the dreadful winter months. When does winter officially start? I'm Google searching that real fast. Sunday, December 21st to March 20th, 2026. That's going to be a long period of time. I'm really worried about the snow falling. Because I'll have my snow tires on, but nothing scares me more during the winter is when you try to brake, but your car won't because snow is lodged into the brakes, and that's how I got rear-ended last winter. My car took a little bit to stop, and I finally did, but that 16-year-old just, boom, crashed into me. I'm tired of talking about that accident. I'll stop doing that. But the Sunshine State, Florida, once again, there are reports of frozen iguanas falling from trees. Just like how it sounds, the invasive species fall from trees or end up on sidewalks stunned from the cold. Happens when temperatures dip into the 30s and 40s, but not to worry, though. The paralysis is temporary. on the west coast of Florida in Port Charlotte. Photos on social media show one of the iconic green lizards on its side like it's sleeping. And there's another one on the east coast in Palm Beach County. A frozen iguana lying on its back was spotted at Howard Park in West Palm Beach. I'm sure there are going to be some kids out in Florida picking those things up, chucking them at their friends. Take that, get iguana'd. That type of thing. I feel like most people would just be like, oh, they're dead. Throw them away. And they wake up from their long frozen nap and they go, where am I? I'll have to text my friend Matt because I don't know if he answered that question or not previously, if that was a huge problem in Florida. Like, could you accidentally run over a frozen iguana? Could that hurt your car too? I think it could. You run over anything frozen, especially like a frozen lump in the middle of the road. Oh, that would be awful. You just see this frozen iguana just explode under the tire of your car. Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I was reading this whole thing about how Bank of America is facing a lawsuit from employees for not paying them during pre-shift computer tasks. They're facing a class action lawsuit that claims it underpaid hourly workers by refusing to compensate them for time spent at the beginning of the day logging into their workstations. The days of the punch card are long gone for most major employers. Many jobs, especially those that deal with sensitive digital information, require workers to use multi-factor authentications, VPNs, open encrypted drives before they can start work. According to the new lawsuit, some Bank of America business analysts had to complete all of their login duties before they could even access their time cards to clock in. So, yeah, the lawsuit claims that the login duties can take an employee up to half an hour in the morning and a few minutes after their lunch breaks, and that none of that time was compensated. Not sure how this is going to work out in court, but it was just something to talk about, really. I know a couple people that work at different banks around here. Maybe I should ask them that. Does it really take that long? Because I know sometimes when we're working in here, this computer will act up or OBS won't work, first world problem. My webcam won't turn on. And then you just end up resetting the computer and it always helps. And it's just a waste of time because you sit here, you go on your phone, you sit here with the computer off. Jade walks by, sees me texting someone while the computer's off. He comes walking in. Why aren't you working, fool? Police in Connecticut, they have pretty much seen it all, but this one was a real head scratcher. State troopers were called out to Interstate 91 near Hartford during the morning commute after receiving reports of two men on the side of the road trying to steal a giant road sign. Troopers arrived. They found the enormous highway sign loosely strapped to the top of a white pickup truck and two men inside about to drive away with it. The suspects were arrested and charged with third-degree larceny, reckless use of the highway as pedestrians, improper parking. It's unclear what they intended to do with the stolen sign. Why didn't they ask them? Both dudes are in their 40s. One's 42, the other one's 46. Were they going to put it in their sweet man cave or what? I know that one time I do have a TikTok on my personal account at Brendan Peach where my friend Levi and we took a Subway sign. We didn't steal it. My friend Levi worked at Subway at the time and asked the owner if he could just have a Subway sign. I think he originally asked for one of the art pieces on the wall. That picture of like the breadsticks you see when you walk into a Subway and then the vegetables being tossed in the air. There's water droplets on them. I think he wanted one of those paintings to hang up somewhere just because, we're dumb dudes. Let's hang these things up, right? But the owner said, I got something better. And then he ended up giving Levi his like full-on LED Subway sign. And that's still hung up in his room to this day, which is awesome. You just turn the Subway sign on, make it your own nightlight. You wake up and go, yeah, you know what? I could go for some Subway. There's this clip making the rounds from the old television show Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I sure do miss that show. I found it quite entertaining. I would always watch it after America's Funniest Home Videos. My dad and I would watch AFV, move right on into Extreme Makeover Home Edition. And back then it wasn't so corny, but this particular clip from 2007 where they literally blew up this family's house before rebuilding it. It's quite corny. It's quite dumb. You got, is it Ty Pennington, the host of the show, screaming, "Ow! Ow!" They would send the family to Disneyland or Disney World, because wasn't this show on ABC? So of course it's Disney related. They had to send the family to this extravagant vacation to Disneyland or Disney World. I wish I knew a family that was on that show. I would love to know how that show was for them, how the whole process went for that particular family to, all of a sudden get this whole Extreme Makeover Home Edition. You get this awesome vacation. You take the kids. You have a great time. You come back to this brand new home with completely different furniture. Maybe even they expanded the house a little bit because they blew up the entire house in this clip. Did they add on more? Did they all of a sudden dig a basement? Wouldn't that be cool to find out? If anybody in the K-Bear Rock Army knows of anyone that was on the Home Improvement or Extreme Makeover Home Edition show, hit me up on social media. Message the K-Bear page at K-Bear at 101 FM or something. Last night, everyone was freaking out about the Northern Lights. I saw Katie Lee from Z103. She posted a picture outside of her house in Shelley on the Z103 Facebook page. I ran outside like 5 minutes after she posted that because I wanted to see if I could just see them right outside my apartment. Nope, normal sky for me. But I guess after last night, it'll be back even better tonight. This meteorologist shared round 2. After an absolutely epic night of Northern Lights, we're gearing up for another round tonight. Once again, expectations for an intense geomagnetic storm are high. But I'm looking at the map here. The viewing conditions are poor for all of East Idaho. Even if I were to go out to, let's say, Craters of the Moon, will it still be not that great? It looks like it's going to be great for all of Texas, all of North Dakota, pretty much. Most of the South getting a good glimpse of the Northern Lights. Hopefully, I'll finally be able to see them tonight. Last night, I missed out. I was kind of sad about it. I was at my computer playing some Dead Island 2, like I talked about during the beginning part of the show. I also had a banh mi sandwich. Dropped that sandwich right away, ran outside with my hurt back and all, and didn't see a single thing, unfortunately. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.